The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask Good Questions podcast, broadcasting live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio at W4CY.com. This week and every week, we will reach for a higher purpose in money and life, as well as a focus on health and wellness. Now, let's join your host, Bonita Bell Anderson, as together we start with Asking Good Questions.
Hey, welcome to the Ask Good Questions podcast. I am so excited for you to be here today because this is a topic that, oh my goodness, all of us need to hear the information that this special guest is going to impart today. These are going to be golden nuggets, as we say. So I'd like to invite her. Her name is Allyson Lipnack. I'm going to invite her to the proverbial podcast stage, so you can all meet her. Hello, Allyson.
Hi.
Allyson, I'm spacing on where you're coming from. Where are you at in the United States?
Where's the hottest place in the United States?
Well, Arizona usually.
Nope.
Florida.
Yes, South Florida.
South Florida.
The hottest and most humid place.
Hot. I was going to say hot and humid.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Allyson is a personal chef, and I'm going to give you just a little bit of information, and she can add to this if she wishes. She helps individuals live healthier lives without the stress of cooking. As a personal chef, she creates nutritious, delicious meals tailored to your preference and dietary needs. In addition to meal preparation, she also teaches you how to navigate the grocery store, which is what we're going to do today. And I think you're going to get some fantastic information about that to help you find healthier, cleaner products, which is sometimes very hard for us to figure out. Her mission is to make healthy living simple so you can focus on enjoying life while knowing your nutrition is taken care of. Isn't that important? With a passion for cooking and a commitment to your well-being, she provides personalized meal solutions and guidance that supports your health and vitality, allowing you to enjoy balanced meals without the time and effort of meal prep. That is fantastic. What a great way to serve the world.
Yes, my clients love me. They are so happy that when I show up, they're so excited.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
They're like, I haven't eaten since we finished your food. I mean, I literally have a client that I cook for on Mondays, and I open up her refrigerator and it's completely empty. And she always says to me, I'm so happy you're here. She's like, we have no food.
Isn't that great to have that just helps your self-esteem, doesn't it? When people go, oh, you're here.
Yes. And when I get the text and after I leave and they have some of the food, I get the text saying, oh my God, that was delicious. Oh my God, that was the best filet I ever had. Oh my God, that was the best crab cake I've ever had. So yeah, it's very fulfilling.
Well, those in your neighborhood will be able to partake of that. But if you are somewhere else in the United States, the focus of today's podcast is going to be asking good questions around what's in the grocery store. And so we're going to really get into that in depth. So first of all, what really inspired you to become a personal chef, and how in the world do you incorporate this health conscious cooking into your career? Let's start there.
Okay. So I've had a passion for cooking for well over 20, 30 years. I love to cook. I went to the Art Institute, so I'm a very creative person. So when it came to cooking, it was sort of like going to the art store, getting your paint, getting your canvases, coming back and painting or, creating a project. So that was the same thing for me. So when I would go to the grocery store and knives and cutting, it was the same thing. So it was very easy for me to pick up cooking. And I just absolutely loved it and I was good at it. And so what got me into health was my brother many, many years ago. He's been a chiropractor for over 30 years. And he was the first person that taught me that the body can heal itself. And I was always fascinated by it. And I became just loving health and food, and to where like there's been times where I've gone off of sugar for a total year. And so it's been well over 20 years that I have been, reading ingredient labels and things like that. So I actually went on my own health journey. I'm in my middle 50s. And, as women, we're going through menopause, like things like that. And our body starts to change. And I was having some interesting symptoms and different things. And I'm the type of person that wants to get to the root cause of issues instead of taking medication. And so I contacted, a holistic nutritionist and a naturopathic doctors. And we put myself on a whole clean protocol of nutrition. And basically, they kind of didn't even have to tell me what to do because I picked it up so quickly and I just ran with it. And to the fact that after I was done, they asked me if I would like work with them because they're like, you're the only one of our patients that like is so good at what they're doing and what they've learned and what they're teaching and putting out there. And then the other thing is social media has really, it's been fantastic because I always put out all kinds of stuff. And so they were seeing that as well. And so that's kind of what got me into that. I was in a completely other different field. I was sitting in front of a computer all day long, every day for the last 28 years. Mm-hmm. And I just didn't love it anymore. And so so that's what really pushed me was my health issues. And I was very unhappy with what I was doing. And I have always dreamed of doing this I can't even tell you how long, but I never thought that I could actually create a business out of it. Like I had no idea, like what you could cook for people and teach people how to grocery shop and read ingredient. I had no idea until I started doing it. Like they say, like you don't have to see the whole staircase, just take the first step. Right. Well, I took the first step and just, things along the way just started happening. I won't go into all the details because we only have a certain amount of time, but that's how it all began.
Awesome. Well, let's kind of get into some meat and potatoes. What are, so to speak, what are some of the most common misconceptions that you think you've seen people have with, when they think about healthy eating? What are some common things that you hear or arguments people give you? Okay.
So, because whenever I go into a grocery store, I always walk up to people, they're looking, I'll give you an example in the yogurt aisle. You're standing in front of this area of yogurts and you're looking and you're picking them up and you're saying, okay, which one's sugar-free? Which one's low fat? Because we've been told for years that sugar-free and low fat is the way to go. Mm-hmm. Which is the absolute complete opposite. That's good for your health. Yeah. You need fat in your body because your actual brain is made of cholesterol. You need fat for your brain, for your organs. And the low fat and the no sugar. So what they did was they created artificial sweeteners, which are 1,000 times worse than sugar. I mean, sugar's not great for you either, but artificial sweeteners are known to cause cancer. So what they did was, it's all chemicals. And so what they did is they packaged everything as low fat, low sugar, no sugar added, or there's just so much. There really is. There's so much, or fat free, or whatever. It's the way they package things. It's amazing. So when
you have to be able to recognize, wouldn't you say people would have to start with being able to interpret what the label is saying? Like if it says no sugar added, that doesn't mean there's no sugar in it.
Right. So I always tell people you have to learn how to read an ingredient label. It doesn't matter what the front says. It doesn't matter what the sides say. Whatever is, you have to look at the ingredients. So they'll say that it's sugar-free and blah, blah, blah. But then you turn it over, you look at the ingredients, and there's gargum in it, which is a thickener. There's carrageenan in it, which is a thickener, which is poison. And then they put sunflower oil in it, which clogs your arteries. So if you don't know what to look for, that's what I'm trying to do is bring an awareness to people to learn about what ingredients are in stuff, because it really is, people don't realize that the tobacco companies own your food companies. So when tobacco,
I saw that.
Yeah. So cigarette companies, when people learn that cigarettes cause cancer, they stopped buying not stopped buying, people still smoke, but it lessened. So what they did was they scooped up all the food companies and they made the food addicting. So what's addictive? Sugar's addictive, and so they started, I remember back in the day that margarine is probably one of the worst things that you could put in your body, because it's made with all the bad oils that clog your arteries. You're so much better off eating regular butter. And so the cigarette companies, they made everything addictive, and it's just, it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle. Yeah. If you see now, there's so much, the rise of disease. You're seeing people that are younger and younger get cancer. It's every other person. It's ridiculous.
And autism,
it's cancer, diabetes. I mean, everything is caused obviously by environmental. We can't. It is what it is. We're breathing the air and all that other stuff. And there's chemical trails that are. You see those planes with the lines. Well, those are chemicals that they're putting in. Why does everybody get sick certain times a year? I mean, it's just our world, the United States, everything. The system is really broken. It's meant for you to keep. It's a what do they call that? The wheel, the hamster wheel. That's what it basically is get you sick so that you keep medication and to keep making money. It's just that. So if you prescribe somebody to eat vegetables, who's going to make money from that? And they get better. Like, who's going to make money from that? So, and the other thing is I always tell people that this is big, which a lot of people don't know, is that in the United States, our fruits, vegetables, and our soy crops, our wheat crops, our sugar crops, our corn crops are all sprayed with chemicals. And one of the main ingredients is glyphosate, which is an ingredient in Roundup. Right. So we are digesting Roundup on a daily basis. When we were told that whole wheat is good for you, like on a box of Cheerios, it says it's heart healthy. That could not be the farthest from the truth. It's terrible. It really is terrible. That the Cheerios it's pure chemical. It's chemical. It's highly processed. It's not good for your heart.
So Allyson, we're walking into the grocery store, whatever it is. We're walking into the grocery store. What do you think are the most important factors people should consider when they're going, I'm going to make some healthy choices?
Okay.
So what should they be thinking as they walk into that store?
Okay. So they should be thinking that, first of all, I always tell people to download what is called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. The Dirty Dozen is the dirtiest fruits and vegetables that are pesticides and all that stuff. And then the Clean 15 are the cleanest that you don't need to buy organic. So that would be the first thing, is when you're going into a grocery store, to know what those are, the clean 15 and the dirty dozen. Because if it's the dirty dozen, you have to buy those things that are organic. So if you're going to buy strawberries,
Allyson, let me stop you and just let me tell everyone, on the podcast website, I always have an information sheet about the guest. And so on your information sheet, what I want to do is put, here's those two things so that people don't madly try to write this down. Okay.
Okay. No problem.
So it's the dirty dozen,
the dirty dozen and the clean 15.
Okay. Now go ahead.
Okay. So know what those are. So when you're going into the grocery store, you know which fruits and vegetables to buy organic and which ones you don't have to. Then you're going to go into, so that's going to be the vegetable and the fruit section. Then you're going to go.
Do you want to just say it, what they are really quickly though?
There's a lot. I don't know them by heart, but I know that the number one is strawberries. Number 2, I think, is blueberries. I think number 3 is spinach and kale.
The dirty dozen.
Yep. Those are the worst. Strawberries has been number 1 for years.
Wow.
So strawberries, blueberries, spinach. And here you think you're eating healthy because you're getting fruits and vegetables. Not so much. You're getting the pesticides with those fruits and vegetables. Yep.
Actually,
and then,
I've got a little aside to tell you. I recently had my microbiome tested, and the thing that came back said to stop eating. I love blueberries, and I usually try to have them like every day. It said to stop eating blueberries for like a month because there was this virus, or there was something that it picked up that I had chemicals in my body because of the blueberries. And I was like, oh my gosh. So you're just confirming that.
Yeah. Have you ever did you buy organic, or it was just regular blueberries?
No, they were regular because the organic was more expensive. So they were just regular, or my husband was just buying regular blueberries.
I always tell everybody.
Not anymore.
Yeah, I always tell everybody this, and I know it's a challenge for people to afford it, but I will tell you this. You either pay now or you're going to pay later, but you're going to pay a lot more later because you're going to be paying doctor bills. So you either spend the money now to feed your body the good stuff, or you're going to pay later because it's inevitable. Unfortunately, it is what it is. That's the system.
So does anything else come to mind on the dirty dozen? Strawberries, blueberries, spinach.
You know what? As I can look it up as in front of my computer, so I could look it up if you want me to. But as I'm looking up, I would tell you. Let's see here. I'm gonna look really, really fast. Let's see if I can get it really super fast. But it's just have them. Let's see, the dirty dozen. The Dirty Dozen 2025. Let's see what comes up. I'll give you an example. Okay, here we go. The Dirty Dozen. Strawberries, spinach, kale, collard, mustard greens, peaches, pears, nectarines, apples, grapes, bell peppers, cherries, blueberries, green beans.
Wow.
Yep. The clean 15, avocado, pineapple, like anything with a thick skin. Let's see, cabbage.
That's going to be typically peeled away.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I would tell people. And then also I would tell people the same thing with your meats. Okay. So since your corn and your grains are sprayed with these chemicals, your chickens that you're getting the eggs are also eating the grain, and they're eating the corn and all. They're being fed all of that stuff. So therefore your eggs have those chemicals in them. Same thing with your cows. So with eggs, it would be getting pasture raised organic eggs. That means those chickens can roam around freely and eat what they're naturally supposed to eat. Not grain. Same thing with cows. Cows are really supposed to just have grass. Cows are really not supposed to eat grain. And so because they're fed the grain, and they're fed the corn, and they're fed the soy, it's cheaper. So that's now going into their bodies, and that's producing milk, which that's again going into your body. So
one distinction that I had learned a while ago was with eggs. The whole thing with pasture raised is what I get now. I used to get cage free, but then I learned that cage free might mean that there's 10,000 chickens crammed into a space inside a warehouse.
Yep, and they're fed. Yep, and they're fed really bad food. Yeah, they're what they're trying to do is trying to get them fat, so that they can feed more people. So if you're going to get chicken, you're going to get, anything that comes from an animal, it must be organic. So now with meat, with cows and things like that, that's got to be grass fed. So grass fed and finished. So that means that the cows have been eating grass like they're supposed to, but you want to get organic because that means that it hasn't been sprayed with any kind of chemicals.
Right.
Same thing with all your dairy. So if it's going to be milk, if it's going to be cheese, if it's going to be butter, everything should be grass fed. That means it's coming from a cow that was eating grass. And it should all say non-GMO, which a lot of people don't even know what. If you see all packages now, it says GMO. That means genetically modified, which again is Roundup and things like that. But what they do is they take products and they process them so much that they're not even genetically the same type of product. And it's so processed. And then it's got chemicals, and that's going into your body. So do you see where 1 + 1 = 2? Do you see why people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker? It's because, people think I'm crazy because I read every ingredient label that goes, and, I think they're crazy for not doing that because it's, and then there's the bad oils that, we've been told to eat canola oil and vegetable oil. I don't know where vegetable oil came from, but there are no vegetables in vegetable oil. It's a bunch of just crappy oils. And so a lot of those oils are causing inflammation in the body. And when there's inflammation in the body, there's disease.
Right.
So the only oils, and I can, and I'll write this down for you too. I'll email it. The only oils that are actually good for your heart, that are actually good for your body, that don't cause inflammation, are a very good quality avocado oil because it comes from an avocado. Coconut oil because it comes from a coconut, which is a vegetable. And then olive oil, which comes from an olive. But when it comes to oils, when you're buying them, do not buy them in plastic bottles. That's another thing is, there's those nanoplastics. They're forever chemicals now. People drink so much water and so much product that come from plastic bottles. They're now finding that when they're doing autopsies, that there's, plastics in people's bodies, forever plastics that are in their bodies. So make sure that you're buying everything out of a glass jar. And so specifically with olive oil, make sure that it's a dark glass bottle and that it's single origin. So it's coming from one place. So if it's I always, most of the time when I buy my groceries, if I'm going to buy that, I make sure it just comes from Italy, because Italy, they don't do all of that. They don't spray their stuff with pesticides, and they don't use chemicals. That's why when you are here in the United States, you have all these ailments and you can't digest gluten, but you go over to Italy and you can eat bread and pasta and feel perfectly fine.
I've heard that.
Yes. And
well, I'm worried that people could start already being like, I'm overwhelmed. This is overwhelming. So how can someone shift to a healthier diet without feeling overwhelmed or restricted, saying, oh, she's saying I can't do this and I can't do that? How do we not get overwhelmed?
Well, how do you not get, you take one thing at a time. Basically, so you take your dirty dozen and start with that. Then you start with, then you maybe switch over your dairy and things like that. That's really kind of how you do it. I myself never really got overwhelmed just because I was so interested in all of it. But start getting interested in how to put better food in your body. Like, get interested in, when you're looking at an ingredient label, it shouldn't be 20 ingredients. It should be 3 or 4.
Right.
So that could be a first step. If you see that it's, all these ingredients, put it down. If you can't understand what an ingredient is, one of the ingredients, then don't buy it.
Yeah.
And so, as far as like sugar goes, because people say, oh my God, I need my sweets and things like that. So you know what? Use maple syrup. That's another big one. Is I will open up people's refrigerators and they're still eating pancake syrup out of a plastic container, and which is the worst because it's corn syrup. So it raises your blood sugar level and it's just pure chemical. Buy maple syrup, pure maple syrup from a tree. It's like, so use that as a sweetener. I also love coconut sugar. That's a great sweetener. It doesn't taste like coconut. It tastes just like brown sugar. And dates are a great source of sugar. So I'm never deprived. I'm always eating all the different things. But once you start to get interested in your health and how your body works and doing things more natural, start doing research. There's so much free stuff on social media when you want to put in natural or, healthy options, or there's so much that you could find that are free sources. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I could just name off all different people that I follow. It's just, once I started learning about all of it, it just started coming. They always say what you put out comes back. So if you are wanting to learn about your health naturally, and it's going to come, all the knowledge, all that stuff, it's going to come, but you have to be interested in it. That has to become a part of your life. It's for me, it's my way of life. It just is. Yeah.
So, okay. So we're walking into that grocery store with you. And what are some of the key things that you teach people during your grocery store tour that you're pretty sure that they probably don't know?
Okay, so I've done it so many times where people think that they have to be on a diet or that they can't eat anything when they go to a grocery store. So that's not the truth. And so I will what I do is I take them aisle by aisle by aisle, and like I'll have them stand in front of the prepared salad dressing aisle, and I'll have them pick out which salad dressing. Well, first of all, the one in the middle. First of all, we'll start off with this. Mostly everything in the middle of a grocery store is processed because it's sitting on a shelf, and it's, so, yes, the parameters, the outside, it is better for you, but it's still not fantastic. Right. So what I do is I take them aisle by aisle. I'll have them pick out the salad dressing in the produce section that's in the refrigerated section, which salad dressing, and then I'll show them which one is healthier, because, it says heart healthy, but then you turn it around and the first ingredient is canola oil. So I tell them, okay, put that down. And then, but at the same time, we'll go down like the chip aisle, the potato chips. And they think that they can't have potato chips. And I say, well, that's not the truth. Here's 2 brands that their potato chips are either made with olive oil, or they're made with coconut oil, or they're made with avocado oil, and they're organic, or they're grain-free, and there you go. So you can have potato chips. Okay. I wouldn't suggest you eating a ton of them because you don't want to gain a ton of weight, but at least you can have some and know that you're not poisoning your body with bad oils. So that's basically kind of what I do is I show them, I swap out. So I basically have them tell me what they would buy, and we'll turn the package around. I'll show the ingredients, and then I will show them the healthier version, the healthier product, so that
basically
if you
what you're talking about, it's awareness, right?
Yeah, it really is learning. Yes, it is an awareness for sure. Like you could still, people love cottage cheese. Well, great. That's great. It's great protein, blah, blah, blah. So yes, but you gotta have a cottage cheese that's going to be, organic or a good one. So that way, the cottage cheese, again, it's dairy. So if it's coming from a cow that's eating GMO grain and corn, you're not doing your body any justice.
So what would you say is the key things to differentiate between a genuine healthy option and those that are just marketed like they are, but they're not really?
Again, it has to be, you've got to know what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the package says. You got to learn, you've got to learn how to read an ingredient label, because it'll say it's healthy. It'll say everything on there. But until you turn that thing around and you see what's in there, those ingredients, you're not going to, you're going to pick it up. You're going to think it's healthy, and then it's not. So that's the key, is learning how to read an ingredient label.
Okay. So I can just feel people going, oh my gosh. So let's take a breath here, and let's say, let's do some tips for meal prepping or creating healthy snacks. So you're in the grocery store and you want to create some healthy snacks or do some meal prep, but they're busy and they want to stay on track with their health goals. What are you going to tell them if they're busy people, but they're really trying to stick to their health goals? How can they create those snacks?
Well, first things first is you have to know which snacks and which things are healthy. So I always make like my homemade, if I want something sweet, I make my own homemade granola. It's, I hate to say it, but when it comes to eating healthy, it's not a quick fix. Mm-hmm. So, many times at night, it really isn't. There is no magic thing to tell people how to meal prep.
Darn.
No, it just isn't. It's when you want to eat healthy, you have to basically cook everything. I mean, it is what it is. And, tell people throw the microwave out, because microwaves are horrible. And so, we were told that those are so fantastic. Well, if you put your vegetables in the microwave, guess what? All the nutrients are gone.
Oh boy.
So,
well, my biggest thing that I have found has been batch cooking. So like Saturday and Sunday, trying to do as much prep for the week as possible. That hasn't always worked, but sometimes that's been a good strategy for me.
Right. Some people do. They'll take a Sunday and they'll go grocery shopping. They'll meal prep exactly. And that's fantastic. I'm the type of person that I don't like leftovers. So I cook, even when I cook, I cook for people every day. I still come home and make myself dinner. Right. It just, people ask me that all the time. They're like, so when you're done with work, do you come home and make dinner? I say, yes.
Right. Well, I absolutely know that people can struggle with cooking at home because of time constraints. And so what are some time-saving tips or shortcuts do you have that you can recommend for cooking healthier food at home when you have time constraints? What do you think?
Gosh, a lot of times if I have a time constraint, I make eggs for dinner. Many times I do. I make eggs for dinner. That's basically it. It's food. It's meal prep. I mean, that's really basically it. You make a bunch of eggs. You can make egg salad. There's just that would probably be the best. That really is the best, because there's no fast food restaurants that are healthy. You just have to take the time to do it. I live a very busy life too, but I make the time. It's a priority. It's just like you make time for your children, you have to make time for yourself. That is
Right.
a form of, self-love and taking care of yourself. Just like
Right.
go get your hair done, or just go get your nails done. Well, okay, well, let's food prep. It's
Right.
It's actually even more important than that, because that's you only have one body, so it has to be a priority. You have to schedule it.
Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit diet stuff, diet trends, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of trends out there. There's keto, there's veganism, there's intermittent fasting. How do you think you navigate all of that when you're planning a healthy menu for yourself?
Well, I would definitely, without a question, is get with a nutritionist, because everybody is different. Every person has different cells. Everybody is completely different. And so you have to know what's good for your own body. I mean, there are certain things that we already know. We know that dairy it causes inflammation in the body, and sugar causes inflammation in the body. So if you were just to eliminate those two things, it would be tremendous. But it also depends on how old you are, what you're going through. If you're a woman and you're going through menopause, it's going to be very different than a girl that's 25 years old. It's just different. Yeah. We're all different. So there is no one diet. There's no one anything. Like I said, and if one diet or one thing like keto works for one person, it may not work for somebody else.
Right. You know what has been my challenge has been a husband that's a very meat and potatoes guy. And I'm trying to eat a more plant-based diet. What do you say for somebody who has people in their household that aren't necessarily on the same page as them when it comes to eating and what they're eating?
It's tough, because I do get that a lot. A lot of my clients go through that. It's especially difficult when it comes with children, because they'll come home and they'll eat something, but then their kids don't want to eat that. And then their spouse wants to eat something different. So there's really, again, it's challenging. It really is challenging for people that are very, very busy. Again, the meal prep is take your family grocery shopping with you and figure out what you guys want, and get your kids involved with, meal prepping and things like that. Have them, teach them what's good for them, and what, adult, there's not much you can do. I mean,
well, I did take my husband to the grocery store, and we looked at products that he was liking to buy that had high fructose corn syrup. And so I taught him about that.
Good.
And because it really gets back to awareness. Very, very much so.
Things with high fructose corn syrup is just so bad for you. It's all chemicals, and it raises your blood sugar level. I mean, it's just, so many people are diabetic now. Almost everyone is pre-diabetic. I mean, it's that's the way it is now. Yeah, well, because it is definitely, no question. It has a lot to do with our diets and what we've been eating and what we thought was healthy. And it's just people don't know. They just don't know. I mean, I deal with it every single day, everybody.
So you're going into that grocery store, you're going to hit more of the outer perimeter. And on those inside aisles, you're going to read labels. What else about going to the grocery store that's a tactic?
That's a tactic. Well, start with a list. Write yourself a list before you go. Because what happens if you don't have a list, you're going to start buying all kinds of crap. So when you're going into a store, like I was just telling you, I ran into Trader Joe's. And
let's talk about it, because you made a comment, because Trader Joe's, isn't that the be all do all for us?
No, it's not. So Trader Joe's is good for a few things. Trader Joe's is great for their organic produce. They have a lot of, and it's usually cheaper. So that it's great for that. They do have pasture raised organic eggs. So it's great for that. I go in there. I actually went in there specifically because next weekend I'm going to be going out of town for Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to Keys, and I have friends that have a grill. So I love hot dogs, but I will not buy regular hot dogs from a regular store. So because they have so many chemicals and nitrates. So Trader Joe's makes a grass-fed organic 100% beef hot dog. Oh. So I ran in there to get those. And so again, because I know the Trader Joe's is basically a junk food store, I know that I'm going in specifically for organic fruits and vegetables. They do have grass-fed beef, different things. They do have organic pasture-raised chicken. They do have that. They even actually have their own bacon that's nitrate-free. That has no chemicals in it, which which is good. They even have prosciutto that doesn't have any nitrates either. So, and then what else are they good for? You'd have to, when you go into Trader Joe's, again, it's the same thing in a regular grocery store. It's got to be organic, and it's got to be grass-fed or pasture raised.
Okay. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, everything in the middle in Trader, their prepared meals in the frozen section, they are extremely delicious. They really are, and it's so much fun to go through there and look through it, all this new stuff. But everything is made with canola oil, sunflower oil, soybean oil, even their almond milk. I mean, almond milk should have 3 ingredients: almonds, water, and salt, and maybe some real vanilla extract, not gums and vitamins and this phosphate and that phosphate and this phosphate and this thickener. It just, yeah. So, and I'm trying to think of what else with Trader Joe's. Yeah, I mean, the snack aisle, the chips aisle. There's only one. There's, out of all the chips and all the snacks in Trader Joe's, I mean, it's a long aisle and everything looks so much fun, and it is fun. But the only thing that I will ever buy in Trader Joe's that is a snack is their organic popcorn that's made with olive oil. That's it.
So I can't believe it. We are running out of time. I am like,
on and on.
What's one piece of advice that you'd give to someone just starting their health journey, but feeling intimidated by the process? What would you say?
I would say take a deep breath and get interested in what's going on in your body. You only have this one body, and really learn what is nourishing to your own body. And that's the thing. Get interested in be your own health advocate, because I hate to tell you, it's the doctors, the hospitals. I mean, it's, yes, doctors are there for a reason and all that kind of good stuff, but you're a number. You're just next, and you have to be your own health advocate. You've got to love yourself enough to take the time and the money, to take care of yourself, because no one's going to take care of you except for yourself. That's it.
So Allyson, we have to wrap up. I cannot believe this has just flown by. So we're going to ask good questions at the grocery store, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you get your grocery cart, you're going to go smart cart. Well, I'm going to have a smart cart today, and I'm going to have a healthy heart because I'm making better choices. And maybe it's just 1 or 2 things that you make a change, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's what you said was important, that just take one baby step.
Yeah, the one baby step, buy all your fruits and vegetables and all your meats and things organic. Start with that.
Yeah.
Start with anything that's a fruit, a vegetable, or anything that comes from an animal, make it organic. Just start with that, because you wouldn't believe how much better you're going to feel. So many people complain they don't have energy or they feel horrible. That when you start taking all those chemicals out of your body, when you stop eating foods with all those chemicals, you sleep better. You have so much more energy. I mean, it's unbelievable how much better you feel when you don't eat chemicals.
Yeah.
And I can't say enough. Yeah, I just can't say enough great things about that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
You're
and
welcome.
Again, just a reminder, in the bonus downloads portion of the website will be Allyson's Dirty Dozen and her Clean 15, and these important things to really get started with. Any closing thought, Allyson?
Yeah, I just wish everybody good luck. I want everybody to be healthy, and that's why I named my company Thrive As You Age, because I want people to realize they don't have to, their body doesn't have to break down as they get older. They can thrive as they get older. If you put the right fuel and the right things into your body, you can live a long, healthy life. You know, be happier and healthier. And when you're happy and you're healthier, guess what? Everybody in your life, your family, your friends. I mean, it just doesn't get better than that.
So ask yourself good questions at the grocery store.
Yep.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Allyson. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining the Ask Good Questions podcast.
Today's episode is over, but we did ask good questions again, didn't we? Don't miss out as we broadcast live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on W4CY Radio at W4CY.com. Join Bonita Bell Anderson next week for more conversations with experts on finances, retirement, behavioral finance issues, health and wellness, and more. Until then, remember to ask good questions.